But this dynasty thrived and flourished under one guy, a guy I would have liked to have met, named Cyrus the Great.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and in today's installment of Versus, we're pitting Cyrus and Alexander, two of history's greatest conquerors, against each other to determine who the greatest great is.
Here, right here, we cut the throat of the Persian army.
Round 1, Rise to Power.
Alexander was a man who had a mission, and he knew that mission entailed risk.
Ready the troops. Be quick.
Alexander the Great and Cyrus the Great had distinct but equally remarkable ascents to power. Alexander, born in 356 BCE to King Philip II of Macedonia, benefited from his father's military conquests and his mother Olympia's political maneuvering. His rise was inevitable, securing the throne after Philip's assassination and swiftly consolidating power.
What would it look like if the first time we engaged with the enemy, we withdrew, we ran away?
The second pressing reason is logistical. If Alexander does not fight and win a victory early on, he is going to be shut out of the cities that he needs to provide supplies.
Cyrus, born around 600 BCE, had a more legendary origin, shrouded in myth and mystery. As the son of Cambyses, king of Persia, and grandson of Astyages, king of Media, his birth was marked by prophecy. According to legend, Astyages was warned in a series of prophetic dreams that Cyrus would one day supplant and kill him.
I equate Persia with luxury, with rich tapestries and beautiful rugs and my mother's fat, fuzzy Persian cat named Otis. But I also think of a fantastic Persian king named Cyrus the Great, who believed in religious and cultural tolerance, and who freed the Jews from Babylon to return to Israel.
He later united the Medes and Persians, founding the Achaemenid Empire and expanding it into the first global empire. Given the mythical qualities of Cyrus's journey, we're handing the first round to him.
Cyrus the Great is one of the few who deserves to be called the Great.
The Persian Empire created some of the most astonishing feats of engineering the world has ever seen. Magnificent palaces that rose up from barren desert.
Winner, Cyrus. Round 2, Military Accomplishments. Alexander conquered the entire Persian Empire and extended Greek influence across Egypt, Persia, and India, and never once lost a battle. Despite commanding a relatively small army, he was renowned for his military genius, innovative tactics, and effective use of combined arms, especially in battles like Gaugamela. His father's phalanx strategy was a key element in his success, making him one of history's most formidable commanders.
There, in the crack of the Persian line, we'll go for the head.
Kill Darius?
The gods have brought him to us at last. If I die, it's one Macedonian, but the Persians, they cannot move without Darius' command.
As the founder of the Persian Empire, Cyrus achieved significant victories, including the conquest of Babylon and the unification of the Persian tribes. He's famous for his strategic use of psychological warfare, diplomacy, and alliances, along with conventional military tactics. Notably, he conquered Babylon without destruction and freed the Jewish people from captivity, demonstrating his ability to combine military might with diplomacy.
The Jews had been living in Babylon in captivity ever since Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem and their temple, and Cyrus freed them. Now, it could be said in hindsight or political history that Cyrus was looking for a buffer state between a hostile Egypt and his own empire. But so what? The point is that no one had ever done anything like this, and hardly anyone has ever done anything like it since.
Ultimately, no one comes close to Alexander. Even Genghis Khan, seen by some as the most effective military conqueror who ever lived, didn't have Alexander's combination of planning, courage, and might, among other traits. Alexander's undefeated record and expansive conquests set him apart as one of history's greatest military leaders.
The Battle of the Granicus shows us Alexander's qualities as a leader in many ways.
He builds his confidence. He becomes more and more assured. His troops become more loyal. They strengthen. Everything follows in cementing his purpose and mission.
Winner, Alexander. Round 3, Impact.
He refused to enslave his new subjects, a revolutionary concept in the ancient world.
He
recognized the local validity, if you will, of different religions and beliefs, and allowed those things to persist.
Let's start with the obvious when it comes to impact. Cyrus built an empire, the first of its kind. Yes, empire building was then built by the sword, but Cyrus was more effective with his word. He's often celebrated for his wisdom, fairness, and diplomatic approach. Cyrus respected the traditions of the peoples he conquered, which earned him their loyalty.
The Persian Empire is the first empire to have to run in different languages and to accommodate different faiths. So it's always been a point of reference. Cyrus has always been a point of reference to people wondering how you rule a society with different religions, different traditions, without people fighting.
His empire, built on tolerance and effective governance, set the foundation for future rulers. To this end, Cyrus issued the Cyrus Cylinder, often considered the first declaration of human rights, which promoted religious freedom and cultural respect. He liberated the Jews, let them return to what is now Israel, and helped rebuild their temples, earning him a shout-out in the Torah. Alexander himself was supremely influenced by Cyrus, as were the Romans. Thomas Jefferson, the Enlightenment, you could say that Cyrus was the OG Tony Robbins.
If we take control of how we present things to ourselves, how we picture, what we picture, how we talk to ourselves, what we listen to, then obviously we can change the way we feel and the way we behave.
In comparison, Alexander, though a brilliant military strategist, was more focused on conquest than governance. While he spread Greek culture and philosophy through his empire, his leadership was marked by ambition, vision, and sometimes ruthlessness.
Look at those we've conquered. They leave their dead unburied. They smash their enemies' skulls and drink them as dust. They made him public. What can they think, or sing, or write when none can read? But as Alexander's army, they can go where they never thought possible.
While spreading Greek culture, he also attempted to merge Greek and Persian traditions, including religious practices. However, his approach to governance was more focused on Greek ideals than cultural preservation. Ultimately, his empire crumbled shortly after his death, cutting short his rule's long-term impact. In the end, Cyrus stands out as the more enduring figure, owing largely to his foundational impact on human rights, religious tolerance, and governance.
When the Founding Fathers are thinking, how will we make a country where different faiths are all respected, but there's no state religion, they look to Cyrus. And Thomas Jefferson studies Cyrus. He tells his grandson to study Cyrus. And the US Constitution is in some ways the direct descendant of this cylinder.
Winner, Cyrus. Round 4, Wealth.
The empire over which Cyrus ruled was the largest the ancient world had ever seen, and may be to this day the largest empire ever.
Cyrus's vast wealth came from the sheer size of his Achaemenid empire. Its size meant that it controlled vast resources. These included agricultural land, mines, and trade routes, making the empire immensely wealthy. This was in addition to the sophisticated system of tribute that Cyrus trailblazed, in which the conquered regions had to pay taxes in the form of goods, services, or precious metals. Furthermore, his conquering of wealthy kingdoms contributed to his empire's prosperity.
Cyrus was a very innovative builder, and I might add that his standards were particularly high. We can also say that his building project reflected in some ways the technologies that he found in the course of his various conquests.
In comparison, Alexander's riches were largely accumulated through the spoils of war. His conquests, which included Persia, Egypt, and parts of India, yielded immense amounts of treasure, including gold, silver, and precious stones. Through the spread of Greek culture, Alexander increased trade between East and West, which in turn enriched the regions under his control.
On this glorious occasion, I toast this great army that has given so much. And in honor of them, those of you who set out with us 7 long years ago, I pronounce all your debts paid forthwith from the royal treasury.
Most importantly of all, though, Alexander's fortune was more personal than Cyrus's, as he directly benefited from the plunder and gifts. He received vast treasures, particularly from Persia. While both men were incredibly wealthy, Alexander's personal wealth, derived from his military conquests, was likely more immediate and spectacular. whereas Cyrus's wealth came from a more stable, long-term empire-building approach.
As one distinguished Oxford scholar once said to me, Cyrus always had a very good press. It's a very true statement.
Winner, Alexander. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Round 5, Legacy. Cyrus the Great built the first true world empire, uniting diverse territories under the Achaemenid rule and consolidating a vast number of sub-territories while devising and implementing systems to administer it all. These included taxation, irrigation, postal services, and even early forms of human rights, as demonstrated by his respect of local customs. His policies of cultural respect and religious freedom, allowing subjects to practice their own faiths, left a lasting imprint on governance and empire management.
Subsequently, he is the only Gentile in the Bible to be referred to as Mashiach, or Messiah.
Alexander the Great, though a brilliant military strategist, left behind an empire that quickly fragmented after his death in 323 BCE. Known for his ambition, vision, and sometimes ruthless approach to achieving his goals, his conquests spread Greek culture across Asia, influencing art, philosophy, and governance for centuries, through a process now known as Hellenization. His military achievements influenced future leaders, but the short-lived nature of his empire and its eventual fragmentation after his death somewhat diminished the lasting impact of his reign. While Alexander's legacy reshaped the cultural world, Cyrus's administrative innovations ensured the Persian Empire's stability long after his passing. Winner, Cyrus. So between Alexander and Cyrus, who was the greater great? Well, it depends on the factors you take into account. If you're looking at military accomplishments and sheer wealth, then Alexander is hard to match. However, if you consider resume, cultural impact, and legacy, then Cyrus is the one to beat. Ultimately, we have to award Cyrus the title of the greatest great, given his administrative innovations, benevolent style of ruling, and the fact that his achievements have stood the test of time.
Cyrus created and maintained an empire thanks no doubt to his military savvy, but he was also a political genius. He was an excellent, benevolent manager of men.
Who's your favorite ancient conqueror? Are there any other historical figures we should pit against each other? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.
Babylon, with its deep water harbor, will be the center of the world. Alexandrias will grow. Populations will mix and travel freely. Asia and Europe will come together.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.